Woo! Alright, what's up guys? So I'm already about an hour into this ride of highway and pavement just to get here, doing some dirt road exploring in Waterloo, Alabama. And pretty much as soon as the pavement ends, this is what you get into. This giant dirt road, steep hills. And apparently it gets unpacked in some areas, or at least at one point in time that's the way it was. So I got to tag along today on a 450L. And I opted to bring the XT today instead of the Tenere. This road's following right along the bank of the Tennessee River, and if you want to try to find it on a map, Waterloo, search Pickwick Dam. We're a little east of Pickwick Dam. Hills are nice for getting some wheelie practice in though. I really wanted to bring the XT today because I haven't really took it on a good long ride since getting the Clark tank on here. I've maybe put 100 miles on it total, but in multiple small increments. I've got probably 200 miles or so total, maybe closer to 250 on the Kenda tires. I'm blanking on what model they are right now. It's the cheap ones. But I feel like I finally got them scrubbed in on the pavement real nice. And I didn't have the camera running, but on the way here, before it turns to dirt, the paved road is pretty much identical to this, and pretty good blacktop, relatively smooth. And I was following my companion, and he was letting that 450 eat pretty good, so it was coming through there. I don't want to say dragging pegs, but we were getting it. And Trackmasters, Kenda Trackmaster 2s, I believe. And the tires were doing really well on the pavement, getting it, you know, rights and lefts and switchbacks and everything in quick succession. Which I wasn't too surprised at how good they were behaving. I could tell they were going to be fine. Oh, what's up, doggy? A border collie? If I was in my truck, you ain't got a collar. If I was in my truck and knew you didn't belong to nobody, I'd take you home. I'm sure it's somebody's pet, though. Too pretty of a dog not to be. So anyway, yeah, they were doing pretty good on the pavement. I wasn't too shocked by that based off of how good they felt, you know, right when I installed them and didn't really have them scrubbed in yet. The front has gotten noticeably better with a few miles on it in comparison to the back. Alright, it's kind of turning into a little bit of that unpacked gravel. Just a little bit. I've got about a 60-mile loop, roughly, mapped out, and we're just kind of exploring this area today. I've been out on some of these dirt roads, not this one ever, but there are some dirt roads in the area that I've been out to before, just in a truck, trying to get to somewhere else. And so I knew there was a lot in the area, or I didn't really know exactly. I just knew there was some in the area, but I've never come out and explored. And last time I was out here on those dirt roads, it was easily a decade ago. So finally making the time to come out and explore it. I feel like Waterloo, Alabama's about the most rural area in North Alabama, at least that I'm aware of. I know they've got a school here, but there's only like 15 kids per class, and I don't mean per classroom class, I mean per grade. So class of 2025 is going to have 12 to 15 kids graduating, so it's pretty small. And I don't have a clue what you do for work if you live out here, unless you, I mean, it's not terribly far from bigger towns like Florence and Muscle Shoals, not terribly far from Iuka, Mississippi. But outside of the school and a couple random stores that aren't very large, there's really nothing to do around here. There may be some, there's a lot of timber, so there is the possibility there's some logging opportunities around, but it's pretty much as close as I can get to being in the middle of nowhere, within probably 2 hours of my house, with the exception of West Point. West Point, where I do a lot of the other dirt road riding, it's kind of similar. These two areas are about as far off the beaten track as I can get. Again, in a relatively short time from my house. So, as Adam Reeman would say, we're in the bush now. This is as far out as we can get. I did not realize, with it being this close to the water, that we would have this much in terms of elevation around us. I'm far enough west. I mean, I'm pretty much at the Mississippi line, so we're far enough off the foothills of the mountains that you would see in Huntsville, Alabama, which is in the center of the state, as far as east to west, and it's pretty close to the Tennessee line. You're in the foothills of the Appalachians there, so you get a decent amount of elevation change. Everywhere else is pretty much dead flat as far as I'm concerned, but this is a good bit up and down and around, considering how close we are to the river. Usually around North Alabama, if you're anywhere close to the Tennessee River, everything's pretty flat. Especially if you're on the south side of the river, that's like the floodplain side. It is dead flat in most places. This would be good, some good dirt road riding for the Tenere though. And as much highway as I had to do to get here, the Tenere would have been the better bike, but I've just been itching to ride the XT. I know I mentioned in a past video that I was considering selling it and getting a cruiser or something so that my wife would be more comfortable. After about an hour, the Tenere is not great to but we rarely have an opportunity to get away for more than about an hour anyway, having two toddlers, so I figure I keep the XT around a little bit longer, maybe. At least maybe wait until springtime. The election will be over. As right now, I'm sure you're aware if you've been trying to sell anything, but especially a motorcycle or something this is considered an extra luxury, and the market is just flat, or at least for my area, it is. If you want to sell something, you got to really price it aggressively cheap. So it looks like there's a lot more to explore out this area, and unfortunately I don't have much time today. I've got a point back towards home by 11 o'clock. It gives me about another hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes, but we've been passing up dirt roads, left, right. It seems like there's a lot more for us to maybe get into out here if I had time to just explore it all and get my bearings about where I am. And it's not helping that I can't run my phone on my handlebars to be able to see the maps and everything. Power line trails headed off that way. It's one thing you can't really do much around here anymore, that I hear stories from the older generation. You know, they're like, yeah, when we was y'all's age, we'd go, like back when I was in high school, they'd be talking, they'd be like, yeah, we'd take our Jeeps or four-wheelers or whatever, we'd go ride power lines on a Friday or Saturday night. I'm like, yeah, well, I can't do that because no one can do that anymore around here. There's too many, run into too many fences and property lines, and too many people with shotguns that don't want you driving near their property or on their property. I'm sure you can ride that one. I mean, fences probably ain't gonna stop you. There's a trail there, but back around my house, there's high voltage lines all over the place. I live right beside a set, but you can't trail ride along them. Maybe you just gotta be brave enough to open up everybody's gates you come to and all that stuff. I'm not doing that. Ugh. This is a great day to be out riding. It was a little cool this morning. It's probably 50 something when I left my house, and I didn't take the time to like swap over my storage bags from the T7, my saddle bags, to this bike, which I could have done. And so I opted to leave my bibs and everything and just be cold on the hour-long highway ride here. It wasn't all highway, but it was a decent amount of it. So it's finally warmed up now to probably 70, high 60s anyway, 67 probably, or better. Let's see here. Entering Lauderdale Wildlife Management Area. These roads right here are smooth enough and open enough and straight enough. If you had something like the T7, you could just absolutely be blasting this thing. My buddy following me is on that 450L. He could be tearing this up right now if I wasn't in his way. I don't know if he would, but the bike would eat this up. Mount Hebron Baptist Cemetery. So don't sleep on the XT. We ain't eating it up, but I mean, we're doing 50. Granted, dead straight and flat, but still. Rename this 100-mile-an-hour road if you wanted to, because that's about how fast you can come down through here if you had the bike for it, or heck, you can probably drive a truck through here that quick nearly. It's good, smooth dirt roads. I really need more time out here to explore, because all these, like that gate's closed. There was a couple roads back there that was gate open on stuff like that. I'm not sure if you're allowed to explore it. You could probably claim accidental if you got caught on it. Be like, hey, the gate was open. Thought I could be in it. We're already leaving the management area now. So some of them other roads have to be available, you know, for you to ride on. Squirrel. So we might end up going right back into that management area. I didn't pay much attention on the maps, the route that I had picked out relative to the, you know, green background of the wildlife management area, if I was going in and out of it, or what I was doing there. But the route I'm following, I once again got off gravelmaps.com. So again, that's updated by the users. It's not the most accurate thing in the world, but it's a head start. So if you're looking for some dirt road exploration in your area of the country, it's free to use. It's free to get on there and browse the map anyway. I've never tried to update a map or update their map to show, hey, this road's not really gravel or this road is. You gotta be a member or log in or sign in, have an account or whatever. I'm not sure if that costs anything. I've never looked into it. I just get on there and rob them of their dirt road sections, which, in my defense, is perfectly free to do. They give you the option to browse the map. So I know I have had one or two people comment on some other videos where I mentioned that's where I found, you know, this particular route or dirt road I was on or whatever, and they're like, yeah, I looked in my area and it showed no dirt. However, I know that this dirt road exists or that dirt road exists. So depending on where you're at in the country, you know, that gravelmap.com may not be the most accurate thing, and it's set up for bicyclers. So I guess it depends on how popular bicycling gravel roads is in your area, on how many users might be updating that website. In North Alabama, I don't feel like there's that many gravel road bicycle people, so I know that most of the roads I've clicked on that map, you can see like a username for who put that route on there or who highlighted those roads or whatever, and I've recognized a couple of the names of people that's put them on there, and it's usually Dualsport riders. So panning out to be a good route, though, I can tell you that. One thing I would love to do once the channel gets a little bigger is host a ride where people can come from way further off, kind of more subscriber rides. So anyone who's anywhere in the southeast that's willing to come and do some traveling, you could actually camp at that Brush Creek campground, and you're not far at all away from my West Point route that I've released some recent videos on. And you're definitely not far off this route. It's just a mile or two outside of Waterloo. Alright, so now we're getting into an area that's called Rainbow Falls, and it is the second property of the NATRA, which is North Alabama Trail Riders Association. So that's the club that owns the West Point property, and they also own an off-road park property here in Waterloo, which is just another reason I wanted to come explore out this way. Like I said, I've been here like 10 years ago, and this has always been an off-road riders area. It's just technically speaking, before they purchased the property or the rights to the property or leased it or however that worked out, you were technically riding on government property, which wasn't supposed to happen, but I don't think they really policed it or anything. I don't ever really remember ever hearing anybody getting in trouble and for coming out here and riding, you know, off the road on these trails. Which now, like, we're on a public road, but a lot of them trails have signs on them as soon as you turn down them that say, like, hey, you're leaving public property going on to, you know, NATRA property. Probably has a link to the website so you can figure out how to join it, blah 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 blah. So all that to say, if you're not a member and you find yourself in this area, stick to the public dirt roads or get a membership. Since NATRA has took over managing everything, they will, you know, if they catch you on the property without a membership, maybe not the first time, you might get a slap on the wrist, but if they catch you again, just refusing to get the membership, expect a hefty fine for trespassing, which will go through the local police, and I think it's up to a $10,000 fine. So just don't do it. Got a little rough. Well, hey, if you know your way from here, I can follow you. Woo! And I forgot to hit go on the camera as soon as we took off from that hill. We ain't 100 yards from where he went down at. This is still considered a public road, so pretty rough. I'd also noticed I'm getting low on camera battery, so I'll go ahead and say my goodbyes here in case it dies on me. But I'm gonna let it run until she dies and grab as much footage of this as I can. That way I can put out I'll try to put out a raw edit that just shows everything we went through today. Versus my typical edited, hopefully more appealing to watch type video. I usually release raw edit second, so if you're looking forward for the raw edit to see the whole kit and caboodle, look out for it to come out second. not going to assume any of these water holes are shallow. We all know what happens when you assume. Yeah, better I left the Tenere at home today. I don't know where I'm going. Whew. You far left? Yeah. right turn. Man, that sandy gravel is so soft, the front don't even want to roll in it, just tries to push. This will be way rougher of a loop than the West Point loop. Get a big ride together, might need to do this on day one. stop and shed the jacket. At least it ain't dusty. Huh.
that is the end, folks.